Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cropped inside-out seams sweater. What makes this sweater special is not just the inside-out seams, but also the sleeves. It is a normal drop shoulder sleeve, but a little bit puffy just above the elbow, which plus the inside-out seams make the sweater pretty dramatic and unique. This color is knitted, but originally I planned to crochet it, so I will tell you how to crochet this color in this video. Here's some information you might want to know before we get started. So we're going to start from the back panel. The back panel is just a rectangle. So there's no increase or decrease, it's super easy. I'm going to show you how to do that. And the stitch that I used is just double crochet, simple plain double crochet rows. So starting from here, we're going to make a chain. And this chain should be half of your chest measurement because this is only the back panel. And then after that, we're just going to work our row back and forth like this, just one row repeat. Very simple, and then make a square like this. I've got some leftover yarn here. I'm going to use it to show you how to do the stitch. For the extra yarn I'm using, I already showed you at the beginning of the video. So for this one, I chained 60. That's about half of my bust measurement. So it doesn't matter what yarn you're using, chain half of your bust measurement. So I'm going to make a slip knot. And then I'm gonna chain 10 here because this is just an example. I've already made my back and front panels. So after you've chained half of your chest measurement, I'm gonna block this chain and then chain 2 more as the turning chain. And then in this first chain, I'm going to turn it around, find the back loop of the stitch of the chain, insert my hook in that chain, and then pull up a loop. In the next chain, back loop, again, insert your hook, and then pull up a loop. Now we're going to make a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then do that again, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that stitch would be the first double crochet. That stitch is a little different because that's the beginning of the row. And then for the regular double crochet, we're just gonna yarn over first, insert our hook in the next chain, back loop still, pull up a loop. Now that we have 3 loops, we can make a double crochet again. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So let's do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next chain, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So continue doing this and finish this row. So I'm at my last chain here. Again, I'm going to make a double crochet, just like before. Pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we've finished the first row. Then I'm going to chain 2. So normally this chain 2 would just substitute for the first double crochet, but I like to do something different. So I'm going to turn my work. We have 2 chains here. I'm going to insert my hook in the first one, back loop only, pull up a loop. Then insert my hook in the first double crochet of the row. Under both loops, pull up a loop. 3 loops on the hook, make a double crochet. So this double crochet and this chain 2 together will be my first double crochet. Okay, so this is just how I like to do it. You can totally just chain 2 here if you find it easier. Anyway, move on to the next stitch. Yarn over. Insert my hook in the second stitch, the next stitch, under both loops. Pull up a loop. Then 3 loops on the hook, make a double crochet. Okay, and then you're just gonna keep making double crochets across until you get to the end of this row. So now this is my last stitch. There's a little bit extra stuff here. I'm just gonna ignore that. That's the last stitch. Work a double crochet in that stitch, and then the second row is finished. So we're just gonna repeat row 2. Chain 2, turn, make your first double crochet. I'm going to insert my hook in the first chain back loop, pull up loop, in the first stitch, 1 more loop, make my first double crochet, finish this row, finish my last stitch, and then do that again, chain 2, and then make my first double crochet like this again. So I've chained 10 at the beginning. I have 10 stitches each row, and for the black panel I chained 60 across, so I should have 60 stitches in each row. And then I did 27 rows in total. If you want your sweater to be longer, then you just do more rows. Maybe hold your back panel against your body, and then from there you can decide how many rows you want to do. Say this is your last row. When you finish that, you're just gonna chain 1, pull, and cut the yarn here, and then you're gonna pull this yarn through, and that's how you fasten off. And then you would get a panel like this one. So for the front panel, I chained the same number. I chained 60, and then I did 22 rows. So if you count it all the way up here, it's going to be 27 rows, the same row count as the back panel, but if you count it up to here, it's going to be 22 rows. So 5 rows difference. And that is because this is my neckline and that's my shoulder. I haven't made the other side yet, but just imagine it's there. So as I said, that's the shoulder and that's my neckline, my chest, and the difference is 5 rows. That's about 7.5 centimeters. So after row 22, we're going to start making the shoulder. You might want to do more or less than that. That's totally up to you. So row 22 here, and I'm going to use this yarn as an example. So I did 60 stitches across, just like the real panel, and that's just pretend this is row 22. So on row 22, you want to mark the center 10 stitches. So that's my first stitch. It's marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the 10th stitch, which is also marked. So I'm not going to put anything in these 10 stitches. So after row 22, you're going to start row 23 as usual, and then work double crochets all the way until you are 3 stitches away from the stitch marker. Don't mind this color change. I ran out of yarn, so I'm using a different color. Okay, now I'm 3 stitches away from the marked stitch. I'm going to make a double crochet 3 together in these 3 stitches because I'm going to make 1 stitch on 3. It is a 2 stitches decrease. So I'm going to yarn over and then insert my hook in the first stitch, in the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. And then yarn over. In the next stitch, directly work a double crochet. Again, I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, but I'm going to do it once. Then in the very next stitch, do that again. Pull up a loop from that stitch and then yarn over, pull through 2. Now I have 4 stitches on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all of them. Next, I'm just going to work in this section back and forth to create that shoulder shape. To start the next row, I'm going to chain 2, turn. Now this is 1 stitch, and that's the first stitch that we're going to be working into. And then I'm going to make a double crochet 3 together again, 1, 2, 3, make a decrease. So make my first double crochet, pull up a loop, and then in the first stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook. I can yarn over and pull through 2 and just do that once. Yarn over in the very next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. So we've made a decrease again. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, just 1 double crochet in each stitch, and then chain 2, turn your work, and then just double crochet all the way back. So I finished that row, and then starting the next one. This time we are going to leave 2 stitches. Just in case you can't tell, that's the decrease stitch we've made. So I left 2 stitches so we can make a double crochet 2 together. That's a 1 stitch decrease. Because if I keep using double crochet 3 together, it's gonna follow this angle and keep going that way. But as I work more rows, I want to pull it back a little so it doesn't go that far. It just kind of like started going up like that. So for this 3rd decrease row, I'm going to do a double crochet 2 together. It is no different from a double crochet 3 together. In the next stitch, work an unfinished double crochet, and then in the last stitch, yarn over, insert in that stitch, pull through 2 once. This time I have 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through all. Next row, chain 2. At the beginning of the row, I'm going to make a double crochet 2 together again. So start making my first double crochet. Insert in the first stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2. And then in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Then continue working 1 double crochet in each stitch and finish this row. After that, we're just going to do 1 more row, and for this last row, there is no decrease, so just continue working 1 double crochet in each stitch, and this one should be the last stitch we work into. After you finish this stitch, chain 1 and fasten off. And then for the other shoulder, attach your yarn in this stitch after the marked stitch. Make a slip knot. Insert my hook in this stitch, the stitch after the stitch marker. Attach the yarn. Because we're going this way, we end with a decrease. Now we're starting in the middle of the row, going outwards. That means we're going to start this row with a decrease. I'm going to work 1 stitch on these 3 stitches. Chain 2. In the first chain, pull up a loop. In this stitch, in the same stitch, insert hook, pull up one more loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then do the same, yarn over in the next stitch, same for the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Continue making double crochets, finish this row, start the next row, and then I'll meet you back. So now I'm all the way back. For the second decrease row, I'm going to leave 3 stitches at the end of the row. So make a double crochet 3 together. Chain 2, turn. The third decrease row, at the beginning of the row, make a double crochet 2 together. Insert in the first stitch. Yarn over the next stitch. Like that. Continue finish this row and then come back. And after you've done that, leave 2 stitches at the end of the row and make a double crochet 2 together. And then do one last row of double crochets without any decrease. Finish the row and then fasten off. For the sleeve, I chained 45, and that is about 15 inches. So chain 45 as the foundation chain, and then chain 2 as the turning chain. Do the first double crochet just like before. And then I did 8 rows of double crochets, no decrease, just 1 double crochet in each stitch, and that is about 4.5 inches. So keep doing double crochet rows until it's about 4.5 inches, regardless of how many rows you have to do. And then from there, we're going to do 3 rows as a pattern. The first row is a decrease row, and we're going to be doing double crochet 2 together at the beginning and at the end of the row. So in the first 2 stitches, I'm going to do a double crochet 2 together. I'm going to make my first double crochet just like before, chain 2. In the first chain, pull up a loop. In the first stitch, under both loops, pull up one more loop, yarn over and pull through 2 just once. And then work the second stitch together, pull through 2 once, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 3. So that's what we do at the beginning of the row, and then you're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch until you have 2 stitches left at the end of the row. Now I have 2 stitches left, I can make a decrease again. So that was row 1. For row 2 and row 3, you're just gonna work 1 double crochet in each stitch, no decrease. So you're gonna finish row 2 and 3, and then you're gonna repeat from row 1 again. So do that decrease at the beginning and at the end of the row, and then do 2 rows of regular double crochets. So for my size, I did those 3 rows 6 times in total. That makes my sleeve 14 inches long. So now I'm going to join the sleeves and both panels together. That's the back piece, and that's the front one. And I'm going to do this from the right side. So I'm going to begin from the cuff side. single crochet along the sleeve, and then directly join the shoulder seams as well. So make a slip knot, join from the first stitch. I'm using a bright yellow, contrasting with the black to give the sweater a little bit color. Then just make sure both edges line up. Chain 1. In the same stitch, I'm going to make my first single crochet. When I make my single crochets, I insert my hook under both loops of both panels. Then just do your next stitch. We don't technically have stitches on this edge, so you're just gotta try to find that space where you can put your next single crochet close enough to the one before. And on average, you put 2 single crochets for each double crochet row. And sometimes this side is uneven, but that's okay because when you wear it, the single crochets are gonna lay towards the back piece, so you barely see that stitch, that uneven stitch. But if you care, you can go back and fix it. So you're just gonna go ahead and finish this edge and then directly start again from the first stitch for the panels here. So this part would be connected, and we're gonna do this area later. I finished the sleeve. Now I'm just doing the shoulder. Finish the last stitch and then fasten off. For the other side, I'm gonna work from the shoulder to the cuff. These stitches, I'm gonna have to line them up and then mark my first stitch. That's actually my first stitch. I marked before it, so I know this stitch lines up with the other side, the first stitch on the other side. Chain 1, 1 single crochet in the same stitch, and then start working the seam just like on the other side. On this side, since I'm starting from here, I can directly make the cuff. On the other side, I will have to rejoin the yarn and then work the cuff. So from here, I'm gonna chain however long you want your cuff to be. I'm gonna chain 10 here. So that's how long my cuff is gonna be. And then I'm gonna chain 1 to turn. In the second stitch from the hook, in the back loop, insert your hook and make a single crochet. And then you're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch, in the back loop of each stitch. That's the last stitch. So I should have 10 single crochets. And then when you get to this end, you're going to slip stitch in the same stitch. And then slip stitch again. And then turn your work so we can work along this edge. That's the first single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook in the back loop of that stitch and make a single crochet. So I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop of every stitch. Finish your last stitch, and then on this side you're going to chain 1, this side slip stitch twice, this side chain 1, chain 1 and turn. From the first stitch I'm going to do that back loop single crochet again, and then as I said, when we get to this end we slip stitch twice. So I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch once and then twice. Then I'm going to directly turn and make back loop single crochets in each stitch again. And then when I get to this end, I'm going to chain 1 and turn again. So just keep doing this, keep working along this edge, and then finish your cuff. Now that I've worked all the way back, this is my last stitch, which is also the next stitch when I come back from this direction. So I'm going to make a slip stitch in this stitch. Then I'm going to join the edges together. I'm going to fasten off here and use a yarn needle to join them. Leave about twice this length. Cut. I don't know if anyone does this like I do, because this seam is pretty unique. So the way we sew them together is going to be different as well. I'm just gonna try explain what I'm doing as I go. I didn't really plan how to do it. So I'm gonna go to this one so they connect together under both loops. And then the next stitch under both loops. Come back from the opposite direction. On this side, I want to hide these top 2 loops. I don't want them to be seen, so I'm going to go from top down like this. So they won't be seen. And then next stitch, opposite direction, come back. And then I'm going to go from the corresponding stitch on the other side, from between the edges coming outwards like this, and then the next stitch opposite direction, corresponding stitch top down, and then next stitch opposite direction, come back up, corresponding stitch going outwards. Keep doing this. And then I'm just gonna weave this end in and then do the same for the other cuff. So I lined my sleeves up with the panels, and this is 45 chains. Remember when we started the sleeve, at the beginning I chained 45, so that's 45 together. For this sweater, it equals about 14 double crochet rows. I marked that spot so I know this area is going to be my underarm. Just like the shoulder and the sleeve seam, two sides are worked in different orders. So this is the front panel, and from this angle, that's the left side. For this side, I flipped the panels and then started from here, single crochet. When I get to here, I started joining the sleeve and the front panel all the way to the top, and then come back around. Started joining the back panel and the sleeve, and I stopped here. So that's the order for the left side. For the other side, I'm gonna flip my sweater. So we're doing it from the back side. Back panel, shoulder. I'm gonna start from the underarm. Join the back panel with the back side of the sleeve, and then you will go around, right? You will go to the front, and then join the sleeve with the front panel, and then when you get back to the underarm again, the sleeve is finished, and then you can start joining the rest of the seam on the side. I almost ran out of yarn, so I ended up knitting the color instead of crocheting it, mainly because this way uses less yarn than single crochets. So I still have a little bit yarn left. If I crocheted it like this, I wouldn't have enough yarn. So I kind of had to do it this way. I spent all day yesterday just on this color alone because I was trying to figure out a way to make the edge stretchy. But if you crochet your collar like this, the edge is going to be really stretchy, and that would just fix this problem. Okay, so you're just going to do your collar like the cuffs, and there's no decrease anywhere. Just do exactly what you did with the cuffs. Around the decrease section, it's not going to be perfect because these are not normal stitches, but you're just going to try to make it even like these ones. After you finish that, you're just going to weave in all the ends, and then our sweater is done.